Yes, welcome to Bikes with Rye. Now I've just dropped my BMW S1000R in for its service and they've lent me this lone XR model and I thought, how about an impromptu review? Why not? Okay, so being a lone bike, the bike is a little bit dirty in places. I do apologise, but what I would like to do is start from the front and work my way back. So these front brakes, these discs are 320mm. We've got 4-piston calipers and we do have cornering ABS. Now the front suspension are upside down forks which are semi-active. Headlights are LED, which are obviously off at the moment. This screen is adjustable and I'll try and demonstrate that for you. There we go. So we've got it on its highest setting at the moment. Fuel capacity is 20 litres and the engine is the same engine as I have in my S1000R, 999cc unit, inline 4, pushing out 165 brake horsepower. Rear suspension is also semi-active, very dirty in there again. I apologise. We have a centre stand, which I believe comes as standard. This is also a keyless entry machine. So just start up the dash. Got the key in my pocket, obviously. We'll go through the switch gear here, so we can adjust our suspension on the fly. We've got a menu button here. We've got cruise control, indicator switch, you've got heated grips, this is your rider modes. I'm going to try and demonstrate how I get into this, but I don't know how to. Oh, we've got a little cubby hole here. Yeah, I need to figure out how I open this. Any ideas? Because I do need to put some fuel in it. But yeah, this is keyless, so this does open somehow without the key. Also, we've got a toggle switch here too, which you can flick through the menu. So let's have a look at the dash. So we go through and you can adjust all your settings. You've got navigation on here, which can hook up onto your phone. I know that because I can do that on mine. So yeah, vehicle settings. So yeah, you can adjust everything in here. Your dynamic riding mode. So if we go into here, you can adjust your engine, your torque settings, your engine braking, your traction control, wheelie control, and somebody set it onto 0, so somebody has obviously been doing some wheelies. We have a quick shifter up and down. What else can we talk about? So using your key, you can go into the lock here to lift up your rear seat. You can get access. Actually, it comes off as one whole unit, interestingly. But yeah, there's your battery and some tiny storage space, and we have a USB connection there. Now, seat height is 840mm, and it looks like it's got a low seat, but I mean, I'm 6 foot and I'm kind of tiptoeing on this seat. Plus the reach of the handlebars, your arms are pretty much straight. I'll put my feet also on the pegs. And I did notice since riding here that you do really want to have your foot like this on the peg, because if you put your feet further back, your heel touches the exhaust. So that's a quick walk around done. How about we stick a helmet on and take it for a spin? Now, jumping off my R model this morning and handing it in to have its service carried out, and then jumping onto this XR model that BMW loaned me, I couldn't believe how different both bikes seem to ride. I mean, it's completely different riding position. Obviously, this is like an adventure sport, so look at that. Oh, one there. It's nice, isn't it? Watch out for this cyclist too. So yeah, they feel completely different back to back. Now I know it's the same engine, and I think this produces exactly the same horsepower as an R model. It's tuned exactly the same, only things like the suspension on this bike are different. I think the geometry, the frame is slightly different from maybe the swing arm back, and yeah, you got taller handlebars and you seem to sit a little bit lower in the bike. But as I mentioned on the walk around, I can't get the words out, as I mentioned in the walk around, I don't know where the 40 kilograms of extra weight is on this bike. I know there's more fairing, okay, and the suspension is slightly longer and whatnot, but 40 kilos, where is it? That's a crazy amount of extra weight. And I'm going to tell you honestly, you can tell when you stick a leg over the bike and you try to take the weight, instantly you're like, wow, this is quite a bit heavier. However, on the road, on the go, the suspension is so much more softer, and so it hides its extra lard very, very well. I mean, the suspension is probably too soft. Certainly the rear spring, we have a adjustable suspension which we can change from road to dynamic while on the move, but even so, it's a weird combo, because road, at least on the rear, seems too soft, the front is too hard. Now this will be a little bit of a test on its performance capabilities. We'll pull out here. We're in road mode. Very quick. Oh, what a weapon. You look at the XR and you think it should move like this, it really should, but yeah, this engine, whilst yes it lacks so much character, but honestly it's flat as anything sound wise. It's a mighty beast of a unit. And I will say I'm glad I got my earplugs in, because I left my earplugs out when I picked the bike up, and I was like, oh, I need to get my earplugs, because this screen, you think, oh, that's going to do an amazing job. No, that's on its highest setting, and anything above 50 miles an hour and you don't have earplugs in, the amount of wind, turbulence, the noise, it would annoy you so much. After 10 minutes you'd be so angry you don't have earplugs in. And being a bike that's sort of set up to go touring on, I'm not sure this is a great design. This needs to be taller. I'm 6 foot tall, so I kind of tower above the screen, if you like. If you're a slightly shorter rider, then maybe you get away with it, but for me personally, the screen, yeah, like on my R model without any wind protection is so much more quieter. Actually, you could argue you might as well just take the screen off. I'd rather do the distance on my R model than on this. No, I'm joking. This is a more comfortable seating position, I'll be honest. Though the seat, it's a bit of a weird one, because it's slidey and it's got this weird like hump to the back of the seat, which you kind of feel like you want to sit back into. You know, the meat of this engine is around sort of 4,000 RPM. I mean, I'll demonstrate how much torque this bike has. We're in 4th gear and we're doing 4,000 RPM, and I'm going to wind it on. Here we go. Now the quick shifter is stunning. It's so precise, so accurate. It doesn't matter what rev you're in, it works perfectly. Up and down, of course, so you've got the auto blipper as you're going down, and I've not found any fault with it. And to be honest with you, jumping off my S1000R, I had no doubts, because it's so very good on that bike anyway. And to mention that depending on what rider mode you have going, so if I have it in road or if I have it in dynamic or dynamic pro, it will alter how the gear peg feels. So it'll basically stiffen up the peg so slightly, and I guess it also speeds up the changes too, makes them a little bit more snappy if you have it in, for example, dynamic pro over road mode. Now there is a difference between this bike and my bike, in that this has the BMW front
4-piston calipers, whereas mine has the Brembo calipers, and they changed in 2022 because, from what I understand, they went to the Brembo units because of the BMW calipers being faulty. I understand that they kept leaking, which is interesting, right? Because I would say these BMW calipers have got more bite, more braking performance, more power than my Brembo stoppers on my 2022 S1000R. They are, I mean, they're too good, honestly. Yeah, I feel the suspension's just slightly too soft. I'm gonna pop it into dynamic. See what that's saying. And then you find it a little bit too fidgety. It's almost a bit too aggressive. Well, get some back. You won't see that, but the rear end was sliding, boy. Now, I see a lot of comments made about these bikes having a lot of vibrations through the handlebars or through the foot pegs. I mean, if you read reviews, there's mention of that. Honestly, maybe it's me, but I never seem to get on one and think, what is all these vibrations about? It does seem quite refined. However, what I would say is, you know, I mentioned that I've got earplugs in. If I didn't have earplugs in, the engine, quite honestly, sounds terrible. It's one of the worst sounding inline fours on sale. And so yeah, it's not an exciting unit. I mean, obviously it punches above its weight performance wise, but it just doesn't sound special. And I would say you'd probably get very tired of it on a long journey listening to its tappets. Basically all you hear is what seems to be an engine which sounds like it's made out of, I don't know, the oil has sand in it. And everything's loose in the engine. It's not a great sounding engine whatsoever. So, but yeah, just worth mentioning. I think I'm not trying to dig this bike out. The engine it's very smooth, very, very powerful, but I just wish it sounded a little bit better. I want to mention in this review how impressive the fueling is. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's so close to being perfect. And when you're riding around town, it really makes a difference, because it's not snatchy, it's not trying to run away with you. You have this, yeah, it just gets it. BMW do such a good job at setting up the fuel table, the throttle maps, whatever you want to call it, because yeah, I mean, I've ridden so many new bikes lately, and some manufacturers, they just get it so wrong. So I guess if you're looking at getting yourself an S1000XR, you'd be interested to know at what speed would you be doing RPM wise. Now at 70 mile an hour we are doing what seems to be 4,800 RPM, and I've just accidentally knocked the cruise control off there. So you can, if you twist the throttle forward, it switches the cruise control off, and not many people know that, by the way. So yeah, if we now come back down to, let's just drop it down to 60 mile an hour, we flick a button here on the switch gear and it slows it down. We're doing 4,000, maybe 4,100 RPM. So yeah, there you go.
Alright, so quick summary then of the BMW S1000XR. I have to be open and honest, I wasn't overly keen on this variant of S model from BMW. For me, it at least felt a little sketchy in places. The overall chassis feels wobbly, want for a better phrase, or let's say a bit loose and vague. Maybe that's what XR owners want. The wind noise was excessive, the seat design is also poor, as well as lacks grip, and I don't think this bike would be suitable for the shorter rider either. Also, without earplugs, you'd get tired of hearing the engine and dealing with wind noise very quickly. Positive traits for the bike: it does have a lot of tech, The engine and brakes over-deliver on performance, and with a huge 20-litre tank and plenty of load capacity with room for two, it has real touring potential. The S1000XR is relatively easy going, and I think it favours comfort over handling, which isn't a bad thing, only as long as you wear earplugs at all times. Going to end this review here. If you enjoyed this unplanned review and would like to see more from me, then please see this suggested video on your screen, and I hope to see you on another one very soon. Thanks for watching. See you later.